didn't come in with a great game plan of like, hey, we're going to learn exactly this, this, and this. I have a rough outline of what we could do if we wanted to continue last week's lesson. But with the holiday season, kind of the inconsistency of the schedule, it's hard to continue on with the curriculum. Instead, I like to do these classes where it's more, what's something you guys are running into that you need help on? Who's got something on the front of their brain? Go ahead.
So when during half guard, I was trying to play around with different X guard from half guard, and I keep getting
So X guard from half guard. There's going to be a couple ways. The easiest way to get from half guard to X guard is actually going to be through D-pad. So we're here, boom, I come up here. Now one of the biggest things I like to do when I do that dogfight sit-up that we've worked, what, 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago? You know, we sat up, we come here, we can come to the back and start working that stuff. But if I'm here and I know I want to go X guard, I actually will scoop my hand to the hip and scoop myself back. Just that this. Once I'm there, I will come here, and I will actually roll like I'm coming into deep half, but using that butterfly hook to set my X. Does that make sense? So instead of having that super deep, you know, I'm here, boom, I come up. Instead of having this leg super deep, I'm actually going to scoop myself up to where just my ankles got that bite in, which will then allow me, I'm still controlling position here, to slide this leg from posted to into that almost like a butterfly hook. I will then scoop under, pull the belt, here. That's going to allow me to come to that X guard. Now, once we're here, variety of an options bar. As we've worked previously, you can go to that waiter sweep, you can do ankle pass, do all this. One of my favorite ones when a guy sits here is actually to scoop down here and come over. Just a single leg finish off that. So I'm here, I sit up, I get to this deep pad, right? Boom, scoop, I pull into that X. All I'm going to do is extend my legs out to the, almost like his ankle, which is going to allow me to go hand from one thigh to the other, rock back, forward. One of two things will happen. He will roll with you, give you the sweep because he realizes bad things are happening, or he'll come out the back door if he doesn't give up that sweep. So if I'm here, boom, I come down, scoop. If he doesn't want to just give me the roll through, boom, you come out that back, start taking top of that. So, does that answer your question? So, main thing I'm going to do is still come up to that dogfight position like I'm coming for D-pad. That butterfly hook is the big difference. So when I'm here, boom, I sit up, I get to the dogfight, right? All we're going to do is back out and set this X hook. And I'm also going to fake like I'm pulling into butterfly guard. Because a lot of guys will start to come here. If they think you're going butterfly guard, they kind of relax and sit into themselves, which will allow you to come here. That gives you that X that you need. Then all we're going to do, I like to extend and shift down, come out on that seat. Questions on that?
I was talking to
The point of today and this week and next week's lesson is to be a little bit different, a little bit, find some stuff that I think you guys can use that's effective.
Not so much about the X guard, but getting up to that dogfight position in
Yes.
general. I know sometimes I struggle, especially with guys that are really heavy pressure, not necessarily bigger, but just like to pressure you a lot and stay down and try to get your head and arm and
So
stuff
like when we're here and guys are trying to
and
trap
guys are
this-
pushing in and trying to trap your arm and
Kinda
keeping it so
here.
you can't get the underhook really easily.
Yeah, these type of guys.
Yeah.
It's a two-step process to block that. I'm still going to frame on this outside arm here, but then all I'm going to do is I'm going to post and push. Like I'm trying to high speed help. Fine. Because what that's going to make him do is start pushing back into me. And that's going to be where I start coming up into that dog, underhook into that dog fight. So like, trying to think, like Corey's really good at a heavy pressure game like this. Troyer will play real heavy like this. So when I'm here, to just dig for an underhook's not going to be effective. So when I'm here, I'm going to try to get as much as a frame as I can. Post, push, and get off to that hip. See how that forces him away from me? Now once I'm there, I'll replace, hand up, get that underhook. Boom, now I'm up. Scoop. Here, now you're in. Does that make sense? But yeah, one of the easiest ways to create that kind of distance you need is using that head push. Because if I'm here and guys are being real heavy and trying to smash test, kind of a more old school way of doing stuff. If I'm here and I try to meet a bull head on, you're going to lose that fight. You're on bottom, you don't have the leverage, you don't have, unless you're just mountain stronger than a guy, you're not going to just bury an underhook on somebody here. But if I'm here, I post, I turn, I get some momentum and a little bit of back shoulder, not just my arm behind it. Boom, that gives me the space I need to then start fighting here. Start getting that up, boom. Now I'm in, can pull, come under to the single leg X. Make sense? Like I said, it's not the most elegant solution, but push the head is often not the wrong answer.
Just one more question on that. When you have him in the X and he's on his knee by your face, get him to stand up, just like.
I'm forcing him that way. Because if not, he's going to fall to his hip. So you're talking about the X guards we worked where we stand up with it?
Well, no, just most of the X guard stuff I know is when their foot is like placed on the ground next to your head instead of like their.
If their knees down, I prefer that more.
Oh, you can,
Yeah, because the more, if they're on their feet, they have more motion.
you can still go into like your single leg.
Yeah, you can still do all that stuff, even with that foot up. So if I'm here, what he's asking is if I pull into X here, Austin brings this foot up onto the ground. Like here? Or are you talking more like when they do like the splits?
Well, when he was on his knee like there, and you were doing the sweep.
So if he comes up to this foot, I'm still here. Like it doesn't stop what I'm doing for the most part. May make it a nip more difficult, but it's not going to stop it. Other questions on this? So partners, start in, head on the chest with that in that deep half guard frame, sit up to that dog fight, work into that X guard, all right? 1, 2, 3. Or y'all are stupid. 1 to 2. We'll play D first. If you fuck it up now, I can play you. So boom, when I get here, guys, a couple details. When I pull, this thigh needs to be on my ear. Thick thighs save lives, and I want mine on his ear. Alright? So, I want, boom. I should be in this if I'm D half or X guard. That doesn't change positionally. Each time you pull and you want to go under someone, if you're like, man, my arm's way over here, why isn't he here? Either you didn't go under far enough or you didn't pull him far enough. Either way, I want him up here. Does that make sense? And when we switch legs, I'm extending my feet down here to where I'm almost X-guarding his ankle. That then allows me to shift underneath to grab this thigh. Then I can either go forward or back. Does that make sense? I'm going to assume I didn't explain that well because I had to walk by and explain it to 2 out of 3 groups. So I'm going to assume that was on me. But when I'm here, when I pull, whether I pull to D half or to X, I'm pulling this thigh to my ear. That's how I know I'm in. Once I get here, then I can work into what I want from underneath. Now, when I'm here, I shift my leg down. Then I attack this thigh. Now, I showed you guys originally going this way, but there is also the option to come. Does that make sense? Does that clear up a few details? All right, drill it out a few more times, then we'll jump to the next thing. Who's got the next question? All right. Like attacking one? From can attack triangles. So Cat's question, best attacks for triangles. So obviously there's the simple push-pull method, right? We get cuff grips, I push one hand, I pull the other, jump. That's very simplistic and is going to work minimally because most people at a second week of white belt will have learned to not let that happen, right? So when I'm here, one of the easiest things I like to do is I'm going to attack the armbar first. So I'm going to go to a full armbar trap here, and I'm going to walk up to that diamond where I could really attack this arm. But one of the sneaky things I like to do is I like to come here and here to where I'm looking the far side arm. Because what that allows me to do is, because a lot of guys will start defending this and doing stuff to where it's going to make this armbar hard. All I'm going to do is extend my legs up, hand out, and in. Because they were worried about the arm. They wanted to escape this arm anyway. Think about it. If I'm here, Austin, every sane cell in your brain that's not high is thinking to get this arm in, right? So every brain in his cell, every cell in his brain is thinking, this arm is being attacked, don't let it happen. So when I extend up and I give him that little bit of space, it's going to let it happen. Then that allows me to then cross.
You know, I've been had.
You've been bamboozled. And close off that triangle, right? So that's going to be the most basic way I prefer to attack a triangle. I'm going to go cuff grip here, tricep grip. If you're no-gi, just palm grip here. Extend over and get my legs up. Even if I don't have a big ankle cut, I will come to this high guard position, even just arms in. Because all I'm going to do is I'm going to start pulling on this arm like I want something from it and extend it out. That's going to be the easiest way to start the triangle. Do you want to do a crazier way with an inversion, or do we want to try that first?
Crazy way.
Try this first, and if we don't fuck this up a ton, I'll teach you guys a crazy way. But if I'm here, and I'm doing it to the other side, I'm here. All I'm looking to do is pull on this arm here, and then give him that space. Couple details on tightening up our triangles that I want to go over. A lot of people focus on pulling this head, right? Bigger thing I want you guys to focus on is the angles of our legs. So one thing I see a lot of us do is we lock our triangle, but when we do, see how my top leg is going across his back? Like it's going into the small of his back almost. When I'm cutting my triangle, I want my leg perpendicular, right? Here we go. Running in a line with his shoulder. That way it's across the back of his neck, not going into his shoulder. So here. The other thing is, when I'm hammering my triangle down, it's not just closing that off, it's down and out. So when I'm here, when I hammer this down, that's tight. When I go down and out, it's a lot worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's before I cut any physical angle with my hips. If I'm actually off to the side here, it's not a good day for Austin. So it's not just down, it's down and out. Closes in that hole for you. Alright? Questions on the fake armbar into a triangle?
For no-gi, when you're kind of, a lot of times when I like half attack the armbar or something, they'll slip out once their other arm gets out, like their first arm comes out, and then when I try to close the triangle, they'll slip the other one out.
So boom, I'm here, I let this arm out, and as I go to reach up, I'm losing it here.
Yeah, pretty much.
A couple reasons that's happening. One, the second that arm comes out, pinch the knees. Two, pull them in. So I'm pinching my knees and pulling them to my chest. Gets the room tighter quicker. Now, Austin's going to start moving, doing things here. I'm going to get this arm across as soon as possible. Once you get your knees together and into you, that should give you the ample time and friction to still close it. Question?
Oh yeah. When you were going over the fake arm bars,
Yes.
and you had the other one as well. Since you're trying to make them think about this arm, are you not even attacking reverse
No,
armbar?
all I'm doing with this arm is keeping it hooked. If I'm going to scoop this arm here, all I'm trying to do is just keep it kind of just attached to me. So that way when I go to pull this one, he pulls it out, boom, I pull it in.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had like a reverse thing.
No, I'm not going for like that double armbar position that I've shown you guys before, where we're in this position here, in your armbar. That's not really what I'm going for here. I'm going more for just a hooking, or even if it's here, just kind of keeping it hooked, keeping my hands on it, so that way when I attack, I already have a bite on that arm.
Is that double arm bar easier than stuffing that one?
No, that double arm bar has a lot of holes in it, because you can't squeeze both at the same time. You have to discipline to one and hope that the other works. Other questions on this? Alright, drill her out. This one is not so much a entry as it is something fun for you guys to know. So if I'm here and Austin's on his knees, and I'm here and I'm like, man, I want to feel really fancy. All I'm going to do, invert, go to donkey guard. Alright? Once we're here, I'm going to set both of my hand grips. Alright? Holding both hands, I'm going to put one foot to the opposite hip. That foot is going to allow me to spin. Attach the other leg to his neck. Attack that triangle. Black belt. So we're here. I don't care how you end up inverted, but you ended up here, right? Boom. I have my grips. One foot goes to the hip. The other foot goes to the shoulder. I spin towards that. From here, close off. Finish it just like you would a normal triangle. It's just a fun entry. So if you've ever wondered, man, why did Dustin go to this position and what's he trying to do? This is exactly what I'm trying to do. Foot to the hip, foot to the shoulder. Spin towards the shoulder hip, foot, step the arm across, and you're here. Questions on this? Couple ways this works.
About inverting, do you try to get like at least one grip first, or do you grab something with your hand, or do you just invert?
I am not going to purposely invert like that.
Yeah.
This is you end up here.
Okay.
So unless I'm screwing with a white belt, I am not purposely going to invert. If I'm doing this to you, it is because I'm having a fun day. That's the reason I'm doing it. Now, couple reasons you'll end up here as an actual position. North-south. Austin's in north-south. Most of you guys have felt me do this. You may end up in this position via that if they start to feel that position. That, or the only other way you'll end up here is Austin starts to like pass my side control, and I will push you to stop that pass. Still bite that triangle. This is a low percentage move. Do not make it the staple of your game, but it's a fun wrinkle to have. And it's fun to get that body awareness of being upside down and backwards from where you want to be. Alright? Yes. So I'm here. Boom, my feet are in play. I don't care where they're at the moment. But my one foot goes across to the hip. The other foot, I like to just kind of place on the folder or scoop the back of his head. I'm going to spin towards the leg that's on his neck. That's then going to allow me to pull and shoot my hips. Grab that triangle or that diamond guard in, then Chesney. One of the big details we're going to mess up pretty quickly outside of the feet placement, spinning the wrong direction, is when I go to spin, it's not just me pulling him down, my hips are coming up. See all that real estate under my butt? That's what you need for this to work. Alright? Questions on that? Alright, we'll watch you all flop around for a few minutes and we'll fix it. 1, 2. Is not as useful for sport jiu-jitsu. Most places you can't do this type of attack. I do want to show it to you guys though. Self-defense, maybe some MMA purposes, but we're here, right? So I'm here. And all we're going to do, I'm going to come into this inverted position here. Now, you have to start to align everything in your body, including your chakras, right? Boom. Once we align that, all we're going to do is come here, pull in, and I'm going to slap, and come here, and Austin's going to pass out. Ready? Pull in, pop. Kidding. I was looking for the like. Oh my god.
I was trying so hard to keep a straight face.
Yeah, no, you did.
time in China.
Look at it.
What is that guy named? Detroit something?
Yeah, oh, Detroit. Yeah. Urban survival training. Yes, I was making fun of that. Alright. That inverted position, guys, not the biggest attack position, but I am going to show one of the more realistic attacks that you can use from that, especially if they're in north-south. So if I'm in north-south here, one of my favorite things to do to scare people, go both hands to the hips. And I'm going to frame them back as far as I can. Austin does what the natural defense is. Got my shoulders, head in the center of my chest. That's great. All we're going to do, guys, is I'm going to shift to one side or the other, but both my feet are going to come to his hip. If you have the belt, grab it. That's ideal. If not, you're just kind of hands underneath the belt. Here. If you're like, man, that doesn't work, I've been in a brown belt, so. So I'm here. We're in north-south. I start to fight here. All we're going to do, shift one side or the other. Use that to come out and take that. Questions on that? So that you're not in line for them to just drive their head through your chest. So it's called the uniform defense. For the obvious reason of if I'm head on with him, and I come here, he's going to drive his head straight to my chest. That's why I like to shift off to one side. So that way I'm in. Make sense? Yes.
One time I remember when I tried something similar to that. Someone, right as I started going, they kind of collapsed on my neck. So, and I was on an angle too because I knew I had to get my head out.
Be better
And
is
just-
probably my best. Be better at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I'm just
Well, I guess the main question is in general, when someone kind of goes from north-south to like kind of going one arm in the head, like head and arm position kind of
yeah,
thing.
so like if they're here and they try to like come to this side almost
Yeah.
to try to like attack here, I'm still looking to put in frame. The big difference is going to be you have to come your head out first. The head out is going to be much more important than that. And then you can start framing, grabbing what you need. Not going to work every time, but it is something to threaten from north-south. Even if you don't get it, can make them a little more hesitant, make them transition. Try that out a few times, and we're going to roll some laps.